TV. Don't blink.
In the headlines tonight, Kenyans anxiously wait for the outcome of the general election after spending the day casting their votes to decide their next president.
The side of Kenya also business is totally low.
Situation in border district of Busia calm as Kenyans go to the polls. Across the border in Busia County in Kenya, business premises were closed.
Possibly DNA, possibly the code iris, possibly.
Also, government through the National Identification and Registration Authority set to replace existing national identification cards with smart digital identification cards come 2024.
8 players from there are joining these ones that are here.
And in sports, Uganda Cranes coach Mitchell set to name a 23-man squad as training session ahead of Tanzania encounter intensifies. Good evening and welcome to CTV PM edition. Today is the 9th of August 2022. I'm Agi Uwase with Isaac Luchamazi on Sign and Language. Let's take a look at some of the stories that are making headlines tonight. As early as 4 a.m. in the morning, Kenyans were already lining up at the different polling stations to take part in the heated presidential elections to replace the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta. The front runners for president are ex-Prime Minister Raila Odinga and current Deputy President William Ruto.
As early as 4 a.m. in the morning, Kenyans are already lining up at the different polling stations to take part in the heated presidential elections to replace outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta. Over 22 million Kenyans were registered to vote by the country's electoral body, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. Polls opened as early as 6 a.m. in the morning, and in Kosachei Primary School, located at Turbo constituency in Eldoret, Kenya, front-runner and Kenya Kwanza candidate, Dr. William Ruto, was there very early to cast his ballot. According to Dr. Ruto, who is also Kenya's deputy president, chose to cast his ballot early because he did not want to be an inconvenience to his neighbors. Dr. Ruto is positive that he will win the election.
I know that I am running for president the first time, and it's quite a moment. And I am confident, and I trust in God the way I have in the past, that these two will come home. So I am looking forward to a great day. I am asking every citizen, wherever we are, to choose our leaders in a peaceful manner.
At around 10 a.m., another front-runner in the election and former Prime Minister of Kenya and Azimio La Umoja candidate, Raila Odinga, moved in a procession from his home to go to Old Kibra Primary School polling station in Nairobi, where he cast his ballot. According to Odinga, he is confident that Kenyans will vote in favor of democracy.
Well, we've done our best in the terms of campaign. The ball is in the people's courts. And I have confidence that the people of Kenya are going to speak loudly in favor of democratic change.
Candidate Raila Odinga also spoke out of the irregularities that marred the election exercise early in the morning.
I've had this all over the place. First, some stations opened late. Others, the process is a little bit too slow. I don't know why this is actually happening. And then the other one is, just as we had suspected, some people's names, cannot be identified biometrically.
Outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta cast his vote at Mutoma Primary School polling station in Gatundu South Constituency, Kiambu County. He urged Kenyans to maintain peace.
Well, this is a day of voting. I think this is a day where we all want to pray that Kenyans vote, turn out and vote in peace, go back to their homes as we await the results.
Roots Party presidential candidate Professor George Wajakoya finally managed to cast his ballot in the 2022 general elections. His initial attempt had failed after the election's technology kits had failed to work at the Indaglacia Primary School polling station in Kakamega County. Professor Wajakoya expressed his disappointment over the failure.
Then why should we vote for presidential elections if I'm the only one who has not voted? I'm told Raila has voted, right? Maure has voted. I've just spoken to him to congratulate him. Ruto has voted. Wajakoya has not voted. Why? Is that really something that somebody has to question? Why Kakamega County?
Uganda presidential candidate Dr. Mauro Wahiga managed to cast his vote at Upper Hill Secondary School, Nairobi. He was accompanied by his wife Anna. Mr. Mauro walked into the polling station at 7:20 a.m. to cast his vote. Although most of the parts of Kenya were mainly peaceful, there were sparks of violence in other parts of Kenya. The race is still very tight between Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto and Azimio la Umoja's Raila Odinga. If neither wins more than 50%, Kenya will be forced to hold a runoff for the first time in its history. Hope Nyongereza, CTV, PM Edition.
Kenyans in Uganda have turned up to cast their votes in a poll that decides the country's president for the next 4 years. The voting in Uganda took place at the Kenya High Commission. Uganda is among 11 other countries where the voting took place. Let's have a look.
As East Africa's wealthiest country went to the ballot, Kenyans living in Uganda turned up in huge numbers to cast their vote at the Kenya High Commission. The exercise was conducted by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Frontrunners for president are ex-Prime Minister Raila Odinga and current Deputy President William Ruto.
The agents are good and they are giving us good direction, where to vote to, which tent to go to. Yeah, it is good.
The process was smooth, it was okay, the security was nice. Yeah.
Some voters, however, failed to vote because their names were missing on the voters' register.
We did voter transfer. Initially, I voted from Dar es Salaam and I changed to here at the Kenya High Commission in Kampala. And now I'm being notified that my name can't be found in the register.
I did not vote because I did not do my verification. But I could vote to William Samoei Ruto, my 50th president of Kenya. And I love him.
However, agents of the respective candidates blamed the problem on the registration process.
Those individuals are having issues with registration. Some of them registered in Kenya or in other countries, even Tanzania. However, they applied for change of voter location, and the system did not approve them in time, maybe. So, unfortunately, they are left out of voting, and it's not a good thing to see normally.
Although the country is going through a financial crisis, those who voted in Uganda are optimistic to overcome.
Ila kitu naomba wa Kenya tu pahali mpo, Kenya mzima, dunia mzima, mweke peace, msifight, msipigane, sababu hii ni kitu ya siku moja, lakini Kenya itadumu.
I'm hoping for the best. You know, we have prayed for this thing, and we are hoping it will be fair. I want a leader who will care for lads now. We call ourselves Wanjikos. We want a leader who will care for lads, a leader who will lead us in a good way.
I'm here at the Kenyan High Commission, where we have noticed a large turnout in numbers from the Kenyan people coming out to cast their votes for their preferred candidates. Absalom Wangoru, reporting for CTV, PM Edition.
As Kenyans went to the hotly contested presidential elections, the situation in Busia, the border town at the Uganda border, was calm. People carried on their usual business and bothered by the unspated violence from the country across the border. Let's have a look.
Across the border in Busia County, the situation was different. Most shops were closed. Private and public service vehicles were parked as residents traveled to polling stations to cast their votes. At some of the polling stations that were manned by security personnel, people lined up to vote. Some of the voters say the exercise was peaceful. Section of traders like Moses Odiambo says he couldn't risk opening his business premises.
Tuliongea kwa muda tukasema kura ni muhimu. Tutafunga biashara zote. Baada ya kufunga biashara zote tutapiga kura.
In Busia town in Uganda, traders like Godfrey Orange say the tension in Kenya has paralyzed their businesses.
Now, most businesses are paralyzed. Here in Uganda, all shops, I know the turnover is now very low. Just even up here at the border, here the side of Kenya, also business is totally low because most people have moved. They are gone for shopping, for voting first.
The front runners for president are ex-Prime Minister Raila Odinga and current Deputy President William Ruto. The outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta is backing his former nominees Odinga after a falling out with Ruto. CTV, PM Edition.
Moving on, Kasese District Electoral Commission officers today duly nominated 7 candidates to vie for the Busongola South constituency parliamentary by-election, slated to take place on the 18th of August. The seat fell vacant in June when a decision by the Court of Appeal nullified NRM's Gideon Thembo Mujungu's win following irregularities that marred the January 2021 elections.
Kasese District Electoral Commission, led by the returning officer Ismail Akatwijikila, today completed the nomination exercise of the people vying for the Busongola South constituency parliamentary by-election that has seen 7 candidates being duly nominated ahead of the hotly by-election. Today, the NRM candidate, Gideon Thembo Mujungu, who was flanked by the National Vice Chairperson, Haj Moses Chigongo, District NRM Chairperson, Dr. Crispus Sionga, and other supporters, was nominated at around 11 a.m. After the nominations, the party held a post-nomination press conference where the National Vice Chairperson of the party, Haj Moses Chigongo, advised members to avoid the use of force and intimidation while canvassing for votes.
People who are campaigning, not to use force. Don't force people to support the movement. Use persuasion. Persuade them. Because if you want a girl to come near you, what do? Do you shout at her? There are words which you can use to persuade him to come and join you.
From now on, no sleep. This is campaign, no sleep. We shall be sleeping in the people's homes doing footwork, going everywhere so that we fulfill what the Vice Chairman has asked for and also what Gideon has committed on our behalf to deliver Busongola South back to Parliament on the NRM ticket.
While drumming support for Mujungu, Chigongo explained that an NRM candidate is described as a channel through which the government can extend service delivery to the voters. Others who were nominated today included David Mulindwa Isimbwa and Juma Munezero, who will run as independent candidates. According to Mulindwa, Busongola South constituency is undergoing social, cultural and economic challenges which the government through leaders has not given attention.
I have even intimately talked to the party chairman how the poverty levels, abject poverty levels are so high in Kasese, both in the mountain and in the lowland. I gave you a few highlights about how the lowland, there is no one individual that can afford having 2 students at the university. I said at the mountain level, you find a household, each unit household, you find someone having 3 wives, but without a blanket.
On Monday, the commission nominated Jackson Mbaju Kathika, the NUPO's candidate, Bernadette Businge, the Democratic Party flag bearer, FDC's Aloysius Baguma, and an independent candidate, Doreen Izigire.
CTV PM edition takes a short break, but we'll be right back with more stories. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching CTV PM edition with me, Agi Oase, with Isaac Luchamzi on sign language. Moving on, the government, through the Internal Affairs Minister, has announced the official launch of the civil registration and vital statistics. The exercise starts tomorrow to harness the National Civil Registration and Vital Statistics systems, and under the arrangement, all holders of national IDs and those who don't have them will by 2040 be issued with new smart digital identity cards at no fee.
The government, through the National Identification and Registration Authority, issued national identity cards for all citizens above 18 years of age in 2014, and the first batch will expire in 2024. This will be 10 years since the current IDs were issued. Since the cards will expire in 2024, NIRA is set to issue smart digital identity cards that will contain genetic information. NIRA will deploy technology to pick fingerprints and eye properties of applicants to ease the verification of the particulars.
This is the registration page.
According to the Minister of Internal Affairs, retired Major General Kahindo Tafire, the government plans to have DNA of citizens and issue new national IDs that will contain such information.
There are other things that will come which are not in the current identity card. And it will be the e-identity card But I can assure you there will be improvements, including possibly DNA, possibly they call it the iris.
Otafire says details of how the scheme will run are still under discussion.
Therefore, we give the identity cards a lifespan of 10 years, hoping that within those 10 years, there will be innovation and need for new features appearing on the identity card. Your name does not cease. No. You are the biodata that has been captured, that was captured then, the improvements that are going to be done now will continue as we improve. We shall increase the variety and variables captured on your ID. When we reach the ceiling, then we shall stop improving. And we reach the ceiling when you...
He said the new IDs will be free of charge, apart from the citizens who wish to get express IDs. The exercise is set to improve accuracy and credibility of the NIRA register for planning and improve delivery. Tony Patida Humza, CTV, PM edition.
Members of the Equal Opportunities Commission want government to hold the exportation of labor until it introduces clear guidelines to prevent loss of lives and cases of human rights abuses that are associated with the business. The principal investigator, Equal Opportunities Commission, Savio Kakoza, says many of the exported workers end up in slavery.
We have met Equal Opportunities Commission here at Bugolobi. We have met with the committee Committee of Parliament on Gender, Labour and Social Development. Actually, they had come to ask for information on exportation of labour. What happened? There is one lady, Eddie Vanson in Nabatanzi, who petitioned the Speaker of Parliament on mistreatment of her daughter while she was doing work abroad. The daughter was called Nakagulide. And the petition, the Speaker committed the petition to the Committee of Gender, Labour and Social Development. And so, because our commission, the Equal Opportunities Commission, its work follows under the Committee of Gender, although it cuts across all sectors, but then they sought to meet with us because there's a number of cases who have come to our attention, the Legal Department of Parliament, on the same. So today we have been exchanging ideas, but Ugandans, you know that there are a number of challenges with exportation of labor, as much as there are those young people from Uganda who are exported and they get, actually, they do work and then they get an income, but there are also those ones who actually face a number of challenges. So today we came together to see how can we actually come up with ideas to make the working conditions of Ugandans abroad better. Because, you know, it may not be very easy to stop the young people going, but what we want to see is them having favorable working conditions so that they can earn an income and then they are able maybe to prosper. Our concluding line was like the Speaker inviting all stakeholders, starting with our Mother Ministry of Gender, the exportation companies, the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, maybe representatives of our missions abroad, the NGO, the national NGO, the umbrella organization for the exporting companies, maybe representatives of parents, of the people who have actually been there abroad, so that we can come up with good guidelines to ensure favorable working conditions for our children.
Over 800 complaints have so far been registered by the Evaluation Court of Kampala Capital City Authority. The court is scheduled to handle several complaints on issues of property and taxes as well. The opening of sessions were chaired by Samuel Muyizi and attended by leaders of the authority. We have that report.
On 13th May 2022, Kampala Capital City Authority introduced an arbitration evaluation court to deal with complaints on property and the taxes. The court session today kicked off and was chaired by lawyer Samuel Muizi. The sessions were also attended by the Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjula and the Deputy Executive Director of KCC, Grace Akulo. Over 800 complaints and grievances were brought before the evaluation court today.
We have a registry on the 4th floor in City Hall where any person who is aggrieved by the levied rates or rates so levied by KCCA can lodge his complaint, and it will be upon the court to determine on whether we have the jurisdiction and locus to hear the matters before us or not.
According to the chairperson of the court, Samuel Muizi, they will start holding sessions in different parts of the city.
This court is going to go down to the people. We have identified 2 places so far. For Mengo Chisenyi, we are going to Chitawuluzi. Kamocha, we are going to Kamocha, as we continue identifying other areas.
The Deputy Mayor of KCC, Doreen Nyanjula, says the court will also give guidelines on city tycoons who have been eluding taxing. According to Nyanjula, many of the tycoons have been presenting false information on the property.
Some of the complaints range from, like the chairman said, strangely, some of their names are missing on the valuation lists. Number 2, we have also received complaints from some of them that they are overcharged. We also continue to receive complaints about residential houses being put on the valuation list to pay.
Grace Akulo, the Deputy Executive Director in charge of administration, says the court will solve all the issues raised by complaints on the property rates.
We're starting with Central Division today, and then we move on to the rest of the divisions as well. As an entity, KCCA, we will be able to do all we can to make the work of this court more valuable and facilitate where we can within our respective capacities.
The court will spend the next couple of days handling the complicated cases, and the one they will fail to handle will be forwarded to the High Court.
I didn't see the Executive Secretary's office.
Sierra Leone's parliament has passed land reforms to empower women and local communities, while at least 17 soldiers and 4 civilians were killed at the weekend after an attack attributed to the Islamists in the town of Tassit in the area close to the borders of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. Let's have a look. Sierra Leone's parliament has passed 2 laws said to boost the rights of rural landowners and women. The Customary Land Rights Act and the Land Commission Act, both enacted on the same day, empower local landowners to negotiate the value of their land with investors and prevent it from being leased out without their prior informed consent. Action for Large-Scale Land Acquisition Transparency, a non-government organization, reported on Monday that between 2009 and at the end of 2012, foreign agribusiness investors had secured 50-year leases with possible extensions to 21.4% of Sierra Leone's total arable land. Although there is no firm data on the incidence of land disputes through courts, interfamily disputes, intervillage disputes and conflicts between landowners and companies were believed to be on the rise last decade. The non-governmental organization held a legal regime that grants robust rights to communities facing environmental harm. One of the laws will also end a provision that bars descendants of freed slaves, locally known as Creoles, from owning land outside of the capital, Freetown. At least 17 soldiers and 4 civilians were killed over the weekend, with 9 others missing after an attack attributed to Islamists in the town of Tassit in the area close to the borders of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, which is frequently the scene of clashes and attacks. There were at least 2 other jihadist attacks on Sunday, killing 12 civilians on Saturday in central Mali and 5 police officers on Sunday in the southeast. The death toll from the attack in Tassit, however, is still provisional and likely to change according to a Malian army statement released on Monday.
The army said it had killed 7 people in Tassit, thought to be from the Islamic State in the Great Sahara, using drone and artillery supportive to set off explosives. The Malian army also reported 22 wounded in its ranks, plus significant damages to civilian homes, including vehicles and military installations. Mali has been under threat from Islamist militants since 2012, initially confirmed to the north, but has spread to the central and southern Mali, as well as the neighboring Burkina Faso and Niger.
In our international news tonight, several areas in Seoul were left flooded as heavy rain battered South Korea's capital, submerging vehicles and prompting evacuations, while FBI has searched Donald Trump's Florida home as part of presidential records probe. Let's take a look.
At least 8 people were killed and 6 others were missing in South Korea as heavy rainfall drenched the greater Seoul region, turning the affluent streets of Gangnam into a river of submerged vehicles and overwhelming public transport systems. Commuters were slowly returning to work on Tuesday morning after emergency crews worked overnight to clean up much of the mess. But there were concerns about further damage, and torrential rain was forecast for the second day in a row. Now, while most of the Seoul metropolitan area's subway services were back to normal operations, around 80 roads and dozens of riverside parking lots remained closed due to safety concerns. The rain began on Monday morning and intensified through the evening hours. It flooded streets and subway stations and damaged nearly 800 buildings in Seoul and the nearby cities. Nearly 800 buildings were damaged, while more than 400 people were forced to evacuate their homes, the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Safety confirmed. Now, rescue workers failed to reach 3 people who called for help before drowning at a basement home in the Gwanak district of southern Seoul on Monday night. Another woman drowned at her home in the nearby Dongjak district, where a public worker died while clearing up fallen trees, likely because he stepped into waters electrified by damaged power lines, according to the ministry. 3 people were found dead in the debris of a collapsed bus station and a landslide in the nearby cities of Gwangju and Hyeosong. The country's weather agency maintained a heavy rain warning for Seoul metropolitan area and nearby regions on Tuesday. The precipitation may reach 5 to 10 centimeters an hour, that is about 2 to 4 inches in some area. It is said that about 10 to 35 centimeters, that is 4 to 10 inches, for more rain was expected across the capital region by Thursday. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has said his Florida home was raided by the FBI and that agents broke open a safe. Mr. Trump said in a statement that Mar-a-Lago, the Palm Beach, was occupied by a large group of FBI agents, and Monday's search was reportedly connected to an investigation into Mr. Trump's handling of official papers. He went on to say that these are dark times for our nation, adding that nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. Neither the FBI nor the Justice Department have commented on the report as we speak. An unarmed law enforcement official told our news agency that the Secret Service was notified shortly before the warrant was served at around 10 a.m. local time, and that agents protecting Mr. Trump helped the FBI investigators. Several boxes were taken away, the source added, adding that no doors were kicked down and that the raid was concluded by the late afternoon. A federal search warrant must be signed by a judge. Though such a warrant does not suggest that criminal charges are expected, law enforcement agencies must demonstrate the possibility that evidence of illegality will be found.
PM Edition takes a short break and we'll return with more in the world of sports. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching CTV PM Edition. Now moving on to the world of sports, the national men's football team that plays their first leg CHAN qualifiers on August 27th is still in intensive training. The Crane visit neighbors Tanzania, and a winner over the two-leg will book a ticket to the next year's CHAN championships that will take place in Algeria. The head coach, Militon Micho, gives an update before he names his final 23-man squad.
Uganda Cranes continue to gain full fitness since the players have been on a 3-month break in club football. The team is preparing for a two-legged encounter with Tanzania. The winner on aggregate will qualify for the final CHAN tournament slated for January next year in Algeria. Head coach Militin Sredejovic, also known as Micho, says he's about to announce his final squad.
8 players from there are joining these ones that are here, and we are looking to choose 23 players, 20 field and 3 goalkeepers that will go for the international friendlies, that will help us to shape up the unity, togetherness and other related issues that are going with that, getting us match fitness, getting us technical effectiveness in international matches.
Micho is confident that the spirit and unity of the team is greatly improving ahead of their crucial East African derby with Tanzania.
Physical fitness, we have improved a lot. I remember the day when we came, how they have been coming like flat tires. Now we believe that this first phase of 2 weeks we have finished, and now we are in polishing part of physical fitness before entering in so-called match fitness with the friendly matches that we are planning ahead of us.
The team will secure a 6th CHAN appearance if they get past Tanzania, but Micho says their minds are only set on the next game.
One step at a time. First Tanzania. If we qualify, we shall think about the rest of the things. Until now, we are just thinking about Tanzania match and Benjamin Kappa.
Uganda will play Tanzania away on the 27th of August before the return leg at St. Mary's Stadium Chitende on the 3rd of September, with the winner qualifying to the 2023 CHAN tournament in Algeria. The Cranes have failed to leave the group stages on all 5 occasions they have appeared in CHAN. Noah Walakira, CTV, PM Edition.
The 3rd edition of the Africa Motor Fuel Tour Championship that will cover the northern region has been launched. The race, commonly known as Africa Kwetu, is aimed at promoting road safety and touring the country through competition.
The 3rd edition of the Africa Kwetu Fuel Economic Tour was launched at the Gwynand Towers in Kampala today. The 2022 edition is aimed at promoting road safety, environmental conservation, respect to road users, touring the country, and making drivers skills of conserving fuel while driving. The tour race manager, Mutale Tendo, has details of this year's competition.
Our theme is let's discover what is within. Last time we started with the first edition, we started with the Western Uganda. We went as far as Mbarara, and the second edition was again in that area of Mbarara. But the 3rd edition, we want to go to Northern Uganda. There are themes that are behind the big theme. That is, we want trying everything possible for people to know what is within their country. The reason of passing through the national parks, Maction Falls, you go to the falls, you look at the beauty of that area, the way people socialize in different cities. For example, if we have a stopover in the Masini or Gulu, we shall be able to associate with the people who are there.
Timothy Ocheng, the CEO of Tia Tours and Travels, is the facilitator of the Northern Region Tour.
This year, the tour is taking the northern route, whereby we shall be going to Maction Falls National Park, shall be going to Gulu, to Aru Falls, to Patiko, Fort Patiko. So we shall be touring at different destinations in Uganda. So as a tour company, we want to be part of this so that we are able to showcase different Ugandans that there are many destinations they can visit in northern Uganda, and they can visit them at a very affordable rate.
This year's Northern Tour will cover Masindi, Nwoya, Gulu, and Arua districts, as the clerk and tour guide of the race, Justin Mangoma, explains.
This time round, we are going to the north. We shall go through Masindi. From Masindi, we shall go to Maction Falls National Park. We shall tour the falls, top of the range, then the animals. we shall go to Gulu. Gulu, we shall have Aru Falls, we shall have Fort Partico, and we shall do a corporate social responsibility in one of the schools in Gulu. We shall have, we shall do plant some trees in Masindi. We're starting our event on Thursday at Pearl of Africa Hotel, Nakasero, and we shall be ending in Gulu.
The last edition of the Africa Kwetu Fuel Economy Tour Race covered Hoima, Chibale, Chonjojo, Bundibujo, Kasese and Bara districts, which is aimed at touring and discovering Uganda. Saikasin Sekalala, CTV PM edition.
CTV PM edition has come to an end. Thank you so much for being a part of us. I've been Agi Uwase with Isaac Luchamzi on sign language. Thanks for watching once again and have a good night.